Back in the olden days, if you were a war gamer and you wanted to buy war games, you had to go to a gaming store. Could be a local one, could be one that maybe you had to travel to because you didn't have anything nearby. But you had to go to a store and buy games directly. You could sometimes do a little bit of mail order, but you weren't able to find out about mail order until you actually went to a store where you saw the stuff and it was out there available, and then you could see this, and then maybe in the future you bought it mail order so you wouldn't have to travel to the store. Depends on how far out in the boonies you lived or how far away at least from a game store that you were. But that's how you got games, and that's how game stores stayed in business, by selling games. For those of you who haven't been keeping track or paying attention, it is now the future. Just stick with me on this. There are, at any given time, thousands of websites that would be completely glad to sell you wargaming products, wargaming models, rule sets, paints, whatever you need. Anything you want, you can buy it in the middle of the night in your underwear, or less, whatever. I don't judge. But the fact is that the gaming store has changed a bit because the necessity for it, to some degree, has changed. So the title of this video is, Should You Support Your Local Gaming Store? I have my own feelings about it, but I'm going to start it off this way and ask you a question. Do you play at your local gaming store? Many local gaming stores nowadays have tables in the back, sometimes in the front, in the middle, wherever. They have tables in the store dedicated for miniatures play, wargaming. They've usually got some sort of covering to simulate sand or grass or whatever. They have usually a shelf full of terrain that you can use. They have all this kind of stuff so you can come and play games with people that you know, or maybe people that you don't know, and, get a pickup game, or get in on a tournament, or something like that. Most game stores do not, at least in America, do not charge for this privilege, and so you have to ask yourself, well, why are they doing it? It's because they're trying to get you to come into the store. Why are they trying to get you to come into the store? So you will buy things, and then that the owners of these stores can buy food for their families. You should support your local gaming store if you go there. If you go there to play, absolutely. You should be buying models from them. You should be buying paints from them. I'm not saying that you have to buy every single piece of gaming kit that you have directly from that store. Obviously, you might be looking for used stuff on eBay. You might be looking for stuff that's out of print that nobody can get anymore on eBay. You might find a super amazing sale once in a while. You might buy a bunch of stuff from a guy on Craigslist, whatever. You might be trying to start a new army and you bought some from your friend. But if you're the kind of guy or girl that goes into a shop and plays there pretty regularly, but never buys your gaming supplies from that shop, in my opinion, you are possibly one of the worst kind of people. I just have to say, if you don't like the store for some reason, you don't like the owner, you don't like their policies, you don't like their prices, and so you say, well, I buy all my stuff online or through eBay or Amazon or whatever, but I'm always down here every weekend playing, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. If you don't like the store, don't play there. That's just the answer. There's no discussion, in my opinion. If you support a store, it will thrive and it will still be there. If you don't, it will more often than not die. And then you'll have to invite weird, strange people to your house to play games, and then they'll be in your house touching your stuff. Or worse, you might have to go to their house, and then, I'm not saying they're going to eat you, but they're going to eat you. Probably. I'm just saying, weirdos, we've all known that guy at the shop where you're like, I'm glad I'm not at his house. I'm just saying. Now you may say, yeah, but my local shop doesn't carry X, Y, Z, whatever weird game that you're into. The thing is that any shop, any independent shop, if you go into Games Workshop shop and you say, hey, I would like to buy some Flames of War, please, they will tell you to hit the bricks. But if you go into any independent shop that has anything on the walls, they're getting it from a distributor. and distributors can get you nearly anything. So anytime that you go into a shop and you say, hey, I'm interested in this game and you guys don't have it, they say, I can order it. Do you want it? You say yes. And it will appear, usually in a couple of days, because those distributors like to distribute. That's kind of their job. So very frequently, you can get things just as quickly as if you would have ordered it yourself, direct. Not always, but very, very frequently. More often than not, you're also generally not paying shipping. So, you got that going for you, which is nice. Your shops can do a lot for you. Not only can they get you product that you want to get, and they have great places for you to come and play, and that's a good reason for both of those reasons are why you should think about supporting them, but you can also go there, and more often than not, you can ask questions. You can say, hey, I've been playing this army for a while. I'm thinking about adding to it. I've got this, this, and this, and this. What do you think I should add? Very frequently, if the owner can't answer it for you, or if one of the workers can't answer it, there's usually somebody else in the shop. But a good shop, the person behind the counter is going to know the answer to those questions. The internet, who knows who's on the other side of that computer? We all know that who we are, but on the other side, you have no idea. So to sit there and say, okay, so this is the list I've got, and I'm thinking about adding to it. You go on to a site, I don't know, one of the big message sites. Let's just not name any names or point any fingers. You are going to get actual bona fide crazy people responding to you and telling you, well, this is what you should do. And I'm a professional, or whatever. And this person's probably not played a game in years. But when you go to the shop and you see people and they're actually playing, you now have empirical proof and go, look, that guy's playing right now, and I see him here every time I'm here. He probably has at least a good idea of what's going on, so I'll talk to him. And when you do that, you start talking to those people, you're going to find out more information. And you also might strike up a conversation, and eventually you might find yourself a new friend. At least maybe a gaming acquaintance, somebody that you can talk to, chat with on Facebook. You maybe aren't going to go to their birthday party, but, somebody new to play with. Now, let's say you're a different type of person. There are plenty of players out there who play a game with one, maybe two, maybe three other people. Small, insular group. They always play in their own basement. They got something set up, a sweet-looking table like this. Okay, not covered with garbage like this one is, but a sweet-looking table. And they like to play there, and they play a specific game. Maybe they got some house rules. Maybe they like to drink beers while they play, or whatever, or they like to have a good time, or they play for a while, they go to dinner, whatever. There are people who do that as well, lots of people. And you don't know about them necessarily because you're not at their house. You go to the shop, you see the people who are there every week, but there are people, just as many easily, if not more, who play and don't go to the shop. If you're one of those people and you're watching, should you support your local shop? I wouldn't say you have to. I would say it's not a bad idea. If you go and pick up stuff locally, well, you're saving yourself shipping. You might find out some other information. There's all those kind of things I mentioned before. But if you don't go to a shop, I don't think you have to necessarily support them. It just makes sense. If you don't like the shop because you don't like the owner or you don't like the people around there or whatever, don't support it. But if you go to a shop and you play there and you are a regular, even if you're not a regular, I've gone and played at other shops outside of my town to meet up with people that I know online and things like that. And I'll be at a shop 3-4 hours playing a game with that person, who is a local, and I'll still buy something just because I'm like, well, I came in here and I played, I feel like I should probably, help to support them. The thing is that in bigger cities, I did a short little kind of informal poll of other Wargamer Consortium producers. I asked them, because they live all over the country, we do, and the world, really. And I said, who here knows of shops where you have to pay to play? Several of them talked about shops where that's not brought up. You don't, if the owner starts talking about pay to play, everybody's going to riot. But there are plenty of places that's the norm. And over in the UK, from what I understand, that's also pretty much kind of a big deal. There are even places that are not technically stores. They're just gaming clubs. You pay a monthly fee so that you can come there and play. And they don't make money selling, stuff like models or paints because it's just a club. We don't have a ton of those here in America that I know of, but bigger cities where fees are bigger, square footage in malls is bigger, costs more. they don't really cotton to the whole concept. You coming in here, breathing all their air, using up all their flock or whatever, and not reimbursing them in some way. So there are membership cards you see. Sometimes there are loyalty cards. There are fees per hour. So if you don't want to go down that direction, then you should definitely think about supporting your local shop, because if you don't support your local shop and you go there frequently to play, but you don't buy from them, that's not good business.